Hello, happy Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday. It's 12:15. The PM version of my homeroom class is now at PE, and they will be there until 1 o'clock. And then they will come back for an hour, and then I'll have my last class for an hour. Today we are reading an excerpt from the book Dear Miss Breed. This unit of Study Sync, I think I'm just going to go ahead and say in general, it's just kind of annoying because all of Study Sync is excerpts, but there's so much historical information that you have to make sure to provide the students with the pieces of the passages that they give that I don't know. It's annoying, more so than usual with this particular unit. And I didn't get this far with this unit last year, so I didn't experience this annoyance because we only read Boy in the Striped Pajamas, but we read the whole novel last year. And one of my students, in fact, we were doing Two Truths and a Lie, and someone thought that her lie was that she hates reading, but she does love reading, but she hates Study Sync. So I was asking her, I was telling her I was surprised because I knew that she had hated Study Sync, and I said, it's odd that you love reading but you hate Study Sync. Like, why do you hate it? And she specifically hates it because she's only getting parts of the story and not the full story. So I was like, well, that's understandable. So Dear Miss Breed is a biography about a librarian in San Diego who during Japanese internment had kids writing letters to her, and she would send them postcards and gifts. And so we're reading the excerpt of that. And as far as what I'm teaching from it or what I'm doing with it, because this is really just a passage my district just intends us to listen to, it's just making sure they pay attention to the text structure, so they notice that there are indented paragraphs. And again, remember that that indicates that they're reading, or what they're hearing are pieces of these letters or the voice of some of the kids that were in these internment camps, and anything that is not indented represents narration to put things in context. So we read through it in both classes, and prior to that we watched a vocabulary video on Japanese internment that was really good and gave them a very quick understanding of what was going on. And then we did the read and respond, because the read and respond activities gives a lot more like historical context than if I had just played the video. It gives them information, then ask them questions, and it's just an easy way for kids to get like a grade on a classroom participation assignment. And that pretty much is taking the whole time in all classes because I only have 50 minutes with each of them. I have done a little bit of planning with the Civil War. I'm getting ready to get back to that. And what I am going to do is just center everything and make sure I focus my lesson planning on focusing on the cause and effect, which is suggested by the frameworks. So just looking at the Civil War as a series of causes and effects is going to be how I get the process started. So the first thing that I know that we're going to do is we're going to look at a video that I found on YouTube, which is titled, Why Did Europeans Enslave Africans? So we're gonna watch that. Well, prior to that, we're gonna watch a Nearpod video that talks about cause and effect and the different types of cause and effect, focusing on chronology, because like we're looking at history and history is chronological. So we're gonna look at that Nearpod video that just kind of refreshes their memory on what cause and effect is, and specifically talk about cause and effect in chronological situations. And then we're going to watch the video on why Europeans enslaved Africans, and we're going to break that down into cause and effect. What caused the Europeans to enslave Africans, and what was the effect? And then we're going to move on to the next stage in getting us to the Civil War, which is what I now need to decide is what that next stage is going to be. So I have notes on somewhere underneath here. So I have been taking notes. I have little post-it notes everywhere that kind of tells me the order in which I want to go, because you can get really bogged down in studying the Civil War or any historical moment, because there's so many things to it. And so I just want to make sure that I streamline this so that we're not getting lost in like all the little things that were happening in the Civil War, but looking more at the broader sense of what were the causes and the effects of things going on during that time. So I'm getting ready to figure that out. I've only gotten 1 day planned so far, which is this why Europeans enslaved Africans and the cause and effect. I'm looking for timeline templates on Teachers Pay Teachers, because I feel like it would be a great idea if we can take all those cause and effects and just create a timeline of things, a timeline of causes and effects that led us to the Civil War. That's what's in my mind, but I don't know how to make that come to life yet, but that's an idea in there. So I'm gonna get back to that. Yeah, I think that's it. Nothing else super exciting has happened. So just wanted to pop in and share where I'm at with planning for the Civil War. That's where I'm at. I think I'm done with what I have to get done before I go home today. I have everything scheduled and posted on Google Classroom. Tomorrow, did I talk about what we did today? It's the last thing I talked about. Today, 2 classes are a little bit behind. Like, we didn't get to the actual passage, Dear Miss Breed, because it took us a little bit longer to go through the read and respond activity on vocabulary, which I feel is important because I had a lot of good information in it in regards to the Japanese experience during World War II. My homeroom class in the afternoon, the class that is almost, it feels like teaching a class of selective mutes. That's how quiet they are. So today we're doing it, and true to form, like with the exception of about 3 students, no one's really volunteering. They barely verbally respond to you when you ask them just like basic questions that they can't get wrong. And so we just got to a point where I just was like, guys, like, what is going on? Like, I literally went around and asked each of them, why aren't you guys talking in class? Like, this is our 3rd week, I believe. Some of them actually know each other, they're friends. Like, they should not have any sort of apprehension or, you know, uncertainty about me at this point. And so most of them was like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And then one kid was like, I can't talk with the mask on. Like, talking with the mask on was the issue for him. So it got so bad that I was very honest. I was like, guys, it's very painful. Like, if you find this class boring, it's because no one's interacting. And these 2 topics, language arts and social studies, really are driven by like discussion and information exchange and thought exchange. So I'm just as bored as you are, because it's like I'm talking to the same 3 people all the time and the rest of you are just kind of not participating. So I said, I'm almost at the point where I'm like, I can just give you a lot of independent work to do on your own, which to me would be more boring, and just treat this as like a prep period for myself, or we got to try this again. Otherwise, this next month for us is going to be very, very long. So I was like, do you guys need some fresh air? Like, what do we need to do? And they were like, oh yeah. Then they perked up. They had all kinds of words to share and say. So we went outside for like 5 minutes. I let them just walk around and just kind of watch them. And as they're walking, they're all talking to each other. They're all comfortable enough to talk to each other. So when they came back, I jokingly but seriously said, like, now I know that you guys are comfortable with each other. You know each other. There's no reason for this awkward silence, because one student said it's awkward. And I explained it's awkward because nobody's talking. So tomorrow, I told him I'm fully expecting just conversation to be flowing. I was a little over the top, which sometimes you have to be. So hopefully tomorrow that class will be better, because it really is difficult. Like, I don't remember what the student asked me, but I was honest and said, like, this is the hardest part of my day, because I just know that it's like pulling teeth. The other classes are much more verbal, and it just flows much better, and it's just more engaging for all of us. So we'll see how that goes. That's what happened today. And I think at one point I was just like stuttering. I didn't even have words. And so one of my students who I've known since she was in the 1st grade, she was like, I think we broke her. And I was like, I think you may have. Like, I always like know what to do or know what to say, but at this point I'm at a loss, because in all my years of teaching I've never experienced a class like this. And it just so happens that the second half of the alphabet of my homeroom class are all the students who are less prone to speak, raise their hand, volunteer, share a thought, share an opinion. All of those kids are in the AM class. And so if we were under normal circumstances and classes weren't split like that, you wouldn't really notice because there would be enough kids in the class to offset the kids that don't talk. But when you have a class full of kids that don't talk in a subject like language arts and social studies, it's rough. And so I know my partner teacher talked to them and they just expressed like they just feel safer talking in math and science. And it's hard for me as someone that loves language arts and social studies. Like, I understand it's because in math and science, there's usually pretty concrete answers. And you're not taking as big of a risk. But I'm like, in language arts and social studies, you're really just being asked to express your thoughts and ideas and back it up with some reasons why. So why not? Like, why wouldn't you want to share? So I said all that to say that I'm just about at the point where I'm tap dancing, performing, begging, pleading, screaming for this one particular class to like liven up a little bit. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow. As far as what I've planned, I'm leaving now to go home to handle whatever I need to handle to be prepared for tomorrow morning. And then I'm going to walk Riley and all of that and then continue to work. I've gotten the first day planned. I think I talked about that earlier. If I didn't, I'll be sure to share tomorrow. So I just made some slides that I'll share with you tomorrow. And so generally speaking, we're just going to start talking about slavery in the United States, and specifically slavery being sourced from Africa and why that was. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the vlog here. My desk is a mess. I need to clean this up. To me, this is a mess. This is a lot going on. So that's my day in a nutshell. I'm gonna go ahead and end the vlog here, get all this stuff cleaned up and head out. But if you like today's vlog, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please make sure you do that. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do that. That also helps my channel as well in terms of engagement. I will respond at my earliest convenience. And if you're not following me on Instagram, you gotta make sure to go over there to see other little snippets of my life throughout the day. And it's just nice to have you there as well. So that's it for me today. I hope that you guys are well, and if you're not well, please be well, and I will be sure to see you guys tomorrow. See you then. I'm home. I've been home for a while. Just finished getting my clothes ready for tomorrow, or my outfit ready for tomorrow. But I wanted to pop on here really quick because I wanted to document this moment on the way home. And I have been checking my phone all day thinking like, I wonder if there's a verdict or not. And I hadn't seen anything, so I just assumed like the jury was still deliberating. But on my very short ride home, I heard that Derek Chauvin was found guilty on all counts. And I thought I would be more celebratory, like scream, yell, and all of that. I definitely am happy and satisfied that justice was served, but I think it's interesting to note that like it's almost like I was shocked, because I really was preparing, like mentally preparing myself for a verdict that I didn't think would be appropriate, because that has happened in the past in multiple cases. So I'm definitely pleased that the jury made the right choice and that they weren't swayed by just the antics and the ridiculousness that the defense was trying to throw out there. That they really did trust, like the prosecutor said, what they saw and what we all saw. And so I'm thankful for that. But there's also this sense of like, it is a step in the right direction, but there's just a lot of work to be done. And I appreciate the prosecutors making the point of saying like, this is not an attack on all of law enforcement. This is focused on one particular police officer who made some poor choices. But we do need to take a look at law enforcement in general in this country, because this is happening way too much. And so I've been watching the news and people's reaction, and a couple of times the news channel that I'm watching has called this historic. That in and of itself is interesting. Like, it shouldn't be historic that justice was served and that someone is being sentenced for a crime that we all saw. Like, we saw it with our own two eyes. There were no two ways about it. But it shouldn't be historic, but in some ways it is, because we've been here before and verdicts have gone the opposite way. So I'm gonna go ahead and reclose the vlog. I just definitely wanted to jump on to say that. I'm getting ready to walk Riley and then kind of wind down and just get ready for tomorrow. So